What is trans?
Transition isn't about surgeries or what you had done, it's about how you feel.
Like Dwayne Wade's son, for instance.
Bully for being gay, called faggot, you just had to deal with it. And I
shot 27 times, stabbed. It's like
horrible
death, and nobody cares.
What, that regular women?
Yeah, I was talking about that too.
That regular real?
Okay, I apologize.
Real girl?
being put out the house. And
so you put out the house?
Yeah. Caitlyn. No shit, I'm sorry. Once Caitlyn came out.
So that's how I feel. Like, don't be fake with me. Because I'm good. Either way it goes, I promise you I'm good.
I was actually raped. They treated me, this is no sense to nobody, they treated me like I was a sex worker. They immediately asked me, was this a deal gone wrong?
Tonight on the season premiere episode of Manish, I wanted to talk about one of the biggest elephants in the room, trans. Transsexual women have become the new face of what's culturally appropriate in entertainment, news, politics, you name it. The glitz and the glam.
Please welcome Janet Mock.
India Moore and the co-creator, Stephen Thomas.
This week's star, the most powerful episode yet, which is really saying something. So Amaya joins me now, and it is so...
Please welcome Laverne Cox.
But as we know, with everything good comes the nasty.
Women and girls all share a biological reality. We are all female. But if any male person can call himself a woman or legally identify as female, then predatory men will do so in order to gain access to women's single-sex spaces, and this puts every woman and girl at risk. Logical reality. The LGB is very different from the T, and I don't think it's fair to lump us all into the same acronym.
I want to talk about why people don't like trannies.
I'm not saying that people should not be allowed to go through that procedure. What I'm saying is it doesn't make them a woman. It happens to be, I think that a great many women don't think that post-operative or even non-post-operative transsexual M to F transsexual people look like, sound like, or behave like women. But they daren't say so.
Even though Malik is sitting up here saying that he's not gay, nigga, you're gay. I'm sorry. Like, trans women is not a real fucking woman. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. The nigga is gay. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's cool with you, but don't sit up here and try to put on his face like you're a heterosexual man when you're gay. My nigga, you like trans women. You like women who used to be men. Nigga, you're gay. Like, I'm sorry. That shit is fucking gay. You're gay, Malik. I'm sorry. You came out the closet. You did not step up to nothing, my nigga. You came the fuck out the closet. You're gay. Like, it's just that fucking, it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? To each his own. You do you. But my nigga, you're gay. Let's just be fucking real here.
Can't no black man stand up and say, oh, you know, my whole life, I felt like a woman. You know what I'm saying? But I was just holding it down for my kids and my bitch. You know what I'm saying? We say that shit, nigga, we gonna get assassinated. Young little boys, man, stick to what you was made to be. If you got a penis, be a penis. Be a man. You know what I'm saying? Women, if you was made and you got a pussy, man, rock your pussy. Use your dick wisely. Don't go try to get no pussy. That shit ain't gonna help you. You feel me? That shit gonna hurt when they strip your shit. You feel me? I ain't with that shit. Keep my dick on me. I just have a problem with, you know what I'm saying, people when they hide it. You know what I'm saying? And I have a problem when, you know what I'm saying, like a man is sitting there changing his whole thing. All these young dudes, you know what I'm saying, all these little boys, they look at that and now they wearing dresses and stuff, and you know what I'm saying, like you just sitting there with big ass man hands and you know what I'm saying, big ass man arms and neck and shit, but you talking about my name Kate, bitch. You know that shit ain't gonna go.
But why is it that trans has become the new thing that's on everybody's tongue? Why are our girls being murdered so badly and nobody cares? I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I felt like it was very important that it wasn't just a bunch of guys sharing opinions, but that we went straight to the source. Tonight, sitting down with the fellas, we have Atlanta socialite and celebrity hairstylist Ari, and actress and advocate Toni Bryce.
Girl, let me put it to you like this. Why fuck for free? Why be laid up in the house, hungry, your lights off, you can't look how you want to look, live the life you want to live? Who has time for that?
I've always felt like people don't like what they do not understand. And even myself have a lot of questions about exactly what transsexual is.
You hit me with your moonlight, cover me up, smother me with just your touch.
How did you know? Like, why? How did we get here? How did we get to this place?
I think for me, well, I like to say, like, when it comes to like kids, you don't need terminology, you don't need verbiage, they just need expression. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times kids are expressing themselves. And like when we were younger, growing up in the 90s, we didn't always have verbiage to identify what was going on. And a lot of times that verbiage was gay, 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 gay. But when you hear that so much, you're like, well, I don't feel that way. Like, what is this about? And so for me, I think I knew early on who I was. I kind of feel like being a trans woman, like my spirit is female, it's just my physical isn't necessarily female, but she will get there through a transition. But yeah, I feel like I've always known early on. I didn't start making the journey until later in life because of different circumstances, which we can talk about when we get to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I've always known.
Okay. Yeah. What about you?
Me is weird because I come from a small city from Waldorf, Maryland. So basically, what happens is, growing up in the 90s, gay wasn't the thing, so you didn't really see it on TV or in media like that. So I knew I was different, but I didn't know to what extent. So then I got around gay people, still felt the same kind of way, something wasn't right. And then, boom, boom, boom.
So, let's say I'm 3-year-old, well, 4, 5, 6, Toni. How does that feel as, like, at this point, you haven't transitioned, you're a guy. Like, you know, when did you start realizing, like, what was your thoughts when it came to something's different about me? Like, I'm not like other little boys, per se.
Well, I just feel like my journey was always compared to a girl. Like, oh, you write like a girl, you talk like a girl, which I did have good penmanship, so I had very good writing. You know, like, everything was a comparison to a girl.
Yeah. And
not that is what influenced me at all, but you're right, because that's what I am.
Yeah.
And so I think those early on, I guess, moments kind of now affirms who I am, because it was like that's who I've been all along. But back then it was just kind of like, you felt teased, you felt picked on, you felt like, well, who the hell am I then? Because I don't feel that way, or I don't think that way. Like, and furthermore, what is that? Because I know in my family we didn't have anybody of the LGBT community that was publicly, especially not no trans people. So, you know, but at least gay people, like, we didn't have anybody that was publicly an LGBT person. So I didn't really have nobody to, you know, relate to or talk to about it or nothing. It was just kind of like, you just deal with it.
Yeah.
So it was just me dealing with it.
I know me, it was weird because, like I said, at that age, I gravitated towards feminine things. I was hanging with the girls. I'm one of 21 grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
I was with the female cousins playing with dolls. I was never with the boys playing basketball, football, all of that. I had the hands on my hips. Like, it was never no race cars. I wanted everything to be a girl. I played with dolls. I didn't play video games. I didn't like getting messy and all that. So it was me. It was never. I never wanted to do the masculine or the norm things.
If you had to say today, at this age, what do you feel like has been the biggest hurdle for you when it comes to you being a transgender woman?
I would say acceptance, like self-acceptance, because it takes a lot for somebody to say, this is a journey I want to take. And for so many years, I kind of, like when I was younger, I used, I had met like the first trans woman I had ever met, like when I was, I'm going to say middle school, maybe high school. And I just seen things that I wasn't attracted to, that I didn't feel like was me. And because I saw those things, I kind of internalized, oh, if I want to transition, these are the things that I have to do. And so, not really knowing at the time, I didn't have to do those things. I was just like, well, I'm not doing that because it's just not who I am. And so I didn't. And so going through college, you know, a little bit of adulthood, I was just like, what is it? Like, something ain't right. I even tried to identify as gay and, it never worked. Like, I'm not attracted to a man as a man. Like, this is not going to work for me.
Mm.
So, I think for me, the journey of self-acceptance to say, okay, this is what it is, but you have to accept it. And then when you throw religion into all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was in college, babe, I was in Missouri State Gospel Choir. I was the vice president, the president, like.
Yeah.
Baby, listen.
What about you? Biggest hurdle for you?
Dating.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
What about dating, though?
It's just with me, I'm so finicky, and the thing about it is, though, I've gotten to the point now where I just kind of like, I want to try my hand in everything to see if I can get everything. But at the end of the day, is nothing's really appeasing me. When you deal with straight men, you deal with the down low. I got a wife. When you deal with a gay man, they still want a gay man. When you deal with everything else,
Yeah.
it's other stuff that goes along with it. So it's like dating is kind of like, you got to kind of really like find what works for you and what really is a no for you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when you are dating and trans, you kind of feel like certain things are programmed in our heads to be like, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I have a question with that, with dating. So you like men, and so does trans men, do you exclude them from that?
I've recently excluded them, but I think 2 years ago, no, it did not exclude them. It just only excluded like right now, because the thing about it is, though, it's really like depends what kind of trans man you get with. It's kind of like the same way you have a faggot and you have a gay man. Sometimes you have a trans man, you have a stud. It still has that woman mentality to it, and that's the part I can get past, is the woman mentalities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Both of you, like, what age do you think is a good age for somebody to start seriously considering like transition? And like, do you think parents allow their children who are like maybe 10 or 11, is that too young to start kind of like empowering that? Do you think they still need to kind of sit with it a little bit? Like, what are your opinions?
I'm not the norm. I hate to sound like I'm against the movement, but I don't feel a child can make the decision on what to do with their body. Only because there's certain things that, like I said, you can want something one day and the next day not want it. I've picked up karate as a kid, and I quit after one lesson.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, though, the age to consider it is when you have feelings. As far as acting on it, that's when you get to a mature age where I feel as though that would be like 16. After consulting with your parents, you can really, if you can talk to your parents about it. I know there are some that go behind their parents' backs to do it, but I don't feel anybody before puberty can make that executive decision with their body that I want to be this, I want to be that.
So when you say that, do you think that it's okay? Say, for instance, like Dwayne Wade's son, for instance, clearly he doesn't have any surgery or any work done, but I'm guessing that he's going by female pronouns now. Do you think that it's okay for her to go by those pronouns as long as they aren't getting any work done or anything like that? Because I'm guessing he's going by Zaya, that's the name. She's going by Zaya, I'm sorry. And I think that it's kind of a slippery slope, because it's like you want to identify them how they want you to identify them, but the outside appearance does not really reflect that. So do you think it's okay for them to still be identified as trans even though they do not look like trans on the outside?
Well, that even applies to grown adults, because some people will basically decide one day I want to be a woman and just put a wig on. Transition isn't about surgeries or what you had done, it's about how you feel. As far as though that being a child, I would not entertain it outside the household. Because what is though, when you get into the streets with other people love to dictate what goes on inside your own house.
It's a lot about that. Like recently, I've been hearing about a lot of people that have transitioned, committing suicide. And I think about when I was in high school, the people that, the guys that were transitioning, not fully, but were wearing nails and maybe hair stuff, you know,
the half and half. On the corner, yeah.
Can I explain something though? Okay, so transgender is an umbrella term. Just because somebody says they're trans, it does not mean they identify as a trans woman or a trans man. They can be a cross-dresser, drag queen, transvestite, whatever that means, gender non-conforming, etc. So, like going back to Dwayne Wade's child, that child could not necessarily identify as a trans woman, but maybe in this stage of life be gender non-conforming. Maybe they don't identify with one side, but can still have the freedom to choose their pronoun. So, from that aspect, like I understand why they are honoring the child's request to be, pronounced however they choose. I also feel like I mentioned earlier, as a kid, you don't always have the verbiage, but you have expression. Let the people express how they want to express. I don't feel like we should police every single thing. Like we were policed. Mm-hmm. I couldn't express anything until I was out of my mama's house. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we are in a time now where, all of the things we're fighting for are paying off, hopefully, with the next generation. But also, as parents, I feel like you as a parent have the rights to do whatever you want to do. But if I was a parent, I would allow freedom. I would just allow freedom. Now, I'm not saying I'm finna go allow surgeries and all of those things to happen at an early age, because I don't think that is necessarily appropriate for a younger age. Mm-hmm. But if my child is expressing to me that they feel a certain way, like I knew I felt when I was younger, absolutely, let me know. Let's talk about it.
Okay. But how did that go for y'all when it comes to y'all and y'all family?
It didn't go. Like I said before, 25 and under has it way different than 25 and up. As far as with me and my personal situation, it was just kind of like, I'm here one day. It wasn't no, hey mom, I'm thinking about doing ... It was just like...
You just did it.
I just did it. Because the thing about everything, like I said, happened at a legal age where I didn't need my mother or my father's permission.
Okay.
So it just kind of like I did what I wanted to do. And I had to deal with the consequences of that, being put out the house. And
so you put out the house?
Yeah.
How old?
18. But I mean, that's normal for people. So I didn't take it like, it wasn't.
I left.
But that's if they expect you to go. So it's kind of, I didn't take it. It was
but that was the reason.
It was only for a night though.
Oh, night, okay.
Because I put weed in my hair, so.
Gotcha. It was that like this?
Yeah.
That's a bit much. It was that long?
No. So
you could have did a lot.
So what happened was, you remember Lloyd and Lil Wayne's video, Girls Around the World, when he had his hair pressed out? I wanted to do that, so I said, let me do that. So I came home and I did it, and I was like, get the fuck out of my house.
Jeez.
It starts with hair, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So are y'all families are okay with it now? Are y'all embraced with where y'all stand, like, in your transition?
It's kind of funny. As far as I have a big ass family, I have 21 first cousins, and it's kind of like you really got to do something in our family to stand out amongst that many people. So of course I'm standing out, but the point where I'm at now in life is just I really don't care what they think. Yeah. I never had that dialogue with them as far as like, how do you feel about it? Because I don't feel what I put on my body or inside my body has to do with anybody in my family. That's, like I said, every family has things going on. Like I said, you got the uncle with 5 baby mamas and 10 kids and all that. That's the person that needs more talking to than me. So I just never really had that dialogue, and I never made it an open door on that to even talk to me about it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Well, how I feel is relationships are optional, and I don't have to be in a relationship with anybody that's going to disrespect me, misgender me, use incorrect pronouns once I've told you who I am, how I identify. So at this particular point, my family, they're cool. I feel like I've had to have some hard conversations with a couple, uncle or auntie, along the way. But as long as they understand that at the end of the day, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm good. So however long it takes you to, I feel like you need to accept it or adapt or change, just however long you need to take, and you can take that time. But that doesn't mean I have to be subjected to you in that time.
Yeah.
Because you can be over there doing what you got to do, and I'm going to still be doing what I have to do. But I have that outlook now. I wish I had it early on. I had it early on. I just didn't know how to identify and talk about it.
Yeah.
It was more of like, oh, well, I'm, let me just isolate myself because I don't want to be bothered. But no, I don't have to isolate myself. Yeah. You just need to know where I stand, and they know. But my immediate family, like my brothers and my mom, you know, everybody's that good. You know, my mom specifically, you know, she has her moments where she goes back. And I think originally I used to be really offended about it. Like, excuse me. What? But now I'm kind of just like, you know what? That's your own conviction.
Yeah.
So when we out in public and you want to refer to me with a he pronoun and then people look at you crazy,
I do this.
Is it done deliberately, or is it just kind of?
I think, like at home, I think a lot of times it's done deliberately, yes. But I feel like now when we're in public,
like second nature almost is kind of what you.
Yeah. Now she tries to make an effort to say daughter and she and et cetera and et cetera. So I'm just like, I can appreciate that, but don't be putting on. We're not actors in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an actress. That's my career. But don't be an actor in real life. Like, do what you know, if that's what you're going to do behind closed doors, do it out in public. So that's how I feel like, don't be fake with me. Because I'm good. Either way it goes, I promise you I'm good.
As a transgender woman, or as a woman, because I hate saying that word all the time, to identify y'all, two questions in one. How does it make you feel with how people don't really respond or care about y'all life in general when it comes to the murders and certain things like that? And why do you think that it's that way?
I feel everybody's different as far as like their reaction to what's going on. I could say for me personally, I was actually raped 2013 on Flash House Road. And so like I said, he took my phone, took my wallet, all of that. And so what happened was I had to run to a gas station and call the cops. When the cops came there, they treated me, and this is no disrespect to nobody, they treated me like I was a sex worker. They immediately asked me, was this a deal gone wrong?
Wow.
So to me, that made me cold to any public cry to what's going on. Like I said, I feel for what's going on with us, but as far as like things getting solved, it's not going to get solved if they don't care to solve it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Like I said, if anybody is, I don't wish death or harm on nobody, but like I said, as far as like with us doing the right thing or going to the cops or whatever, that's the main issue. Like I said, people feel as though it's hard being black. It's hard being black and trans because they treat all of us the same, like we're sex workers.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, though, we're not all sex workers.
Yeah. Wow.
And even if that was the case, if a sex worker came to you, said they were raped or whatever,
yeah,
it's still the same situation. Somebody was harmed.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that for me personally, I'm sorry. Yeah, it affects me a lot because I've had friends. I'm trying not to cry. That's why I don't want to ask. Look, I've had friends that I've lost that I grew up with. That was why I wanted to make sure that y'all were here, because I wanted people to understand. Because it's like when I met them and I knew them, they hadn't transitioned. I didn't know. And then as you get older, people that you meet and just nice, beautiful girls, I feel like the women that I've met have been some of the most incredible people and have blessed me. And to have them murdered the way, and it's not even small, it's horrible deaths. Shot 27 times, stabbed 7. It's like horrible deaths, and nobody cares. And like, you can post, say her name a million times. I've said so many names at this point, and it's like nobody cares, and that really bothers my spirit. Because at the end of the day, we're all people. We all bleed the same. And for people to discredit because of that, it just makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, like as a gay man, as a gay black man, we feel a certain type of way. But as a black transgender woman, it's got to be 10 times worse. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It has to be.
It's strike 3. Like I said, the first strike, like I said, with, our parents, all the conversations with us, you're black. Strike 1. 2, you're gay. It's kind of like being trans is like a Pokemon. We evolve. So it's like 1, you're trans. 2, you're gay. 1, you're black. 2, you're gay. Then you're trans.
Yeah.
So it's like that's strike 3.
The recent murders of 3 transgender women in Louisiana are not linked, but their deaths are part of a disturbing trend.
4 people are under arrest in connection with the death of a transgender teen. 17-year-old Allie Lee Steinfeld, who was born Joseph Matthew Steinfeld, was reported missing on September 14th. Authorities in Missouri say her body was found badly burned in a bag that was left in a chicken coop.
In April, a group of men yelling homophobic slurs jumped Malaysia Booker in a parking lot, and a video of the beating went viral.
A transgender woman brutally attacked in Texas last month was found shot and killed over the weekend.
Malaysia Booker was one of 5 trans women murdered in the U.S. so far this year. She was one of 133 killed in the last 6 years, more than 2/3 of whom were black.
That's the response from trans community activists describing the death of 23-year-old B. Love Slater of Pahokee. On September 4th, Hendry County Sheriff's deputies found Slater's body in a burned vehicle. This is the 18th murder in the trans community nationwide this year. 17 of the women killed are disproportionately black, while the
important point there at the end, there are a lot of these cases just don't get reported, abuse in these instances.
Yeah, I guess they're talking about people being frightened into silence.
Yeah.
Taboo, like we're supposed to be assaulted and abused and always the bottom of the barrel. Trans women are women. And then when someone finds out that they're trans women, then they're enraged, they're upset, and feel like they have something to prove, and then they want to harm that person.
Media outlets are calling 2018 one of the deadliest years for the trans community. The Human Rights Campaign has recorded 22 deaths thus far. But advocates say the numbers don't tell the right story. It's more than an increase in violence. It's a sign trans people feel empowered to seek justice.
Or the opening line is trans.
Yeah.
It's never just this person, this age is. It's not a definition of character. And the thing about it is, it also gets me when you said somebody shot 29 times. I watched enough CSI, Law and Order. That's really
personal.
That's personal. It's something either happens to that person, or they kind of told or whatever. It's something behind it.
Yeah.
And also the thing about it is, though, it's like even when a trans person dies, amongst our own LGBT communities, they always want to see it as, was she someone she tricked the trans?
What did she do? Yeah. Every single time.
We're never just a victim. It's something that we did. The same way when a gay man up decides to die, not decide, but still, it's kind of like he dies. It's like you always ask, was it HIV? It's always a stigma as to how you die.
And the crazy part is, don't quote me if I'm incorrect, but 80% of the girls that are murdered were murdered by their partners. And it's not always sex work, because 9 times, and I've even done it. And so somebody's school, they got my ass together. Like, because we'll put it in situations where, like, why they keep doing that and da. And that's something that's why it was important for me to have a conversation too, because, like, and especially with y'all too, because one, you're an incredible actress and you do very good hair. And I want people to understand that all transgender women are not sex workers.
Right.
They're not all prostitutes and escorts. You know what I'm saying? And y'all are talented individuals and human beings just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But it's like this box, just like you said, when you went in, they was like, was this a deal gone bad? Because of the situations, I guess that's what they automatically think is, if you got beat up, you got harassed, you got raped, you must have been escorting or doing something, working for money. Yeah, it's just, I have a lot of respect for y'all. I really do. Likewise, I really do.
It's so tough. Like, honestly speaking, people, you went to the glitz and glam as far as like going to the club and Instagram and stuff like that. It's really tough as far as like, it's days where I don't want to get out of bed, and it's all because of like, it's mental health. That's a real issue as well, because you really have to adjust. It's kind of like a living hell sometimes. Like, you got to realize the fact of, is this what dating is for me? Is this what, if I get in trouble with the law, is going to be for me? Is this what XYZ is going to be? Because I said, even when I've heard about trans women going to jail, the treatment is not as humane as you think it is.
Yep, I got that information. It's right here. No. Because I'm glad that y'all, because like I said, it's one thing for us to sit up here and have a conversation about it, but it's another thing for the actual, the topic, the human beings that we're discussing to be telling us and telling everybody else. That's the reason why. Yeah, like, it makes more of a difference. You know what I'm saying? That's why it was important, and I'm so glad that y'all came because I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to tell y'all.
Well, I never been to jail.
Yeah, well, no. But I'm saying there's a big thing about behind it with how transgender women are treated. You know what I'm saying? And no respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with that women that are incarcerated. And the likelihood of how y'all get more time than regular women, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll get pulled over, treated a certain type of way just because of, you know what I'm saying? They may look at your ID and still identify as male. You know what I'm saying? Like, just certain things and stories people have come out with and statistics behind how transgender women are mistreated.
Can I challenge just one little comment, man?
What I
said
said?
Regular women.
Yeah, I was talking about that too.
That regular real.
Okay, I apologize.
Rigor.
Explain that. Explain that trigger more.
Yeah, please explain it.
Well, because at the end of the day, we are all women, right?
Absolutely.
So we're all women. How we became women are different because none of us were born women. Oh, I'm sorry, not all. Women in general, we're all women, right? But how we became, none of us were born women. You know what I'm saying? We developed into womanhood. You know what I'm saying? So a cis woman, she developed into her womanhood because she was not always a woman. A trans woman developed into her womanhood because she was not always a woman.
And a cis woman is what?
A cis woman means they identify with the sex and gender they were assigned at birth.
Okay.
So cis it means the same.
So regular fish.
Who?
Regular fish.
You still say regular
fish. Look, I'm learning. Fish, you're still teaching me.
But yes, but like that word for me because it is a trigger because in my mind I'm just like, well, I'm a regular person, period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the only type of life I live, I don't live a trans lifestyle. I live an actress lifestyle. Like because I'm an actress. So trans is just that's my gender identity. Like you don't live a woman lifestyle, baby. You are a woman. You just live whatever lifestyle you know your profession is.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that real regular is very triggering because to me, like it's the same thing for gay men when they say, "Oh, this is a real man, this is a gay man."
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are you trying to say? That a gay man is not like they're real men at the end of the day. But I think what people try to do is they make it about parts and organs and things of that nature to say, "Oh, well, that's a real woman because she was born and had all of these things." Right. And I'm just like, but she wasn't born a woman at the end of the day.
Yeah.
She was born female. I was born male, and we both transitioned into our womanhood differently.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing with real and regular. It's just
can I pick back on that?
It gets under my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I'm sorry, the women nowadays is looking just like us.
No, this is facts. This is facts. This is fact.
They're making it easy for me, so you know.
This is fact.
Oh my God.
But I definitely understand that. And thank you for that because that's another thing for me too. I want to understand. I want other people to understand, and because I know it's certain things, and like a lot of times I have certain conversations with women and with the girls, as I like to say, with the girls. Yeah, with the girls.
I say the girls too.
The girls, and they corrected me about saying certain things, like even when I was saying training, and that's a thing. I know a lot of transgender women hate that term, and where I come from, they say it all the time.
But let me say, I hate to be referred to as one. It's the same way as you have a gay man, you have a faggot.
Yeah.
Tranny is
and I learned that.
Well, I think, but for me, as a person that does not express and use the N word, knowing that the tranny is used as a it just kind of depends on the era. You know what I'm saying? Like a 90s, like if you were a woman, adult woman in the 90s, that was a regular term for you. Like it wasn't a bad term. But since we moved into like such a politically correct environment, it's just certain things you can't say.
And you know when it's laced with somebody being malicious.
Yeah. Right. And I think sometimes we use things as like blanket terms or blanket statements, but everybody doesn't feel that way or identify with that term.
I said butch queen when I talked about gay men.
Like I said earlier, I was like, gay butch queen. And that's a problem too, because some gay men don't, because butch queen really is a ballroom term.
Yeah.
So why are we taking ballroom terms and using them in everyday life?
Yeah.
That's not everyday life. So, yeah. But yeah.
Okay, so before I wrap up, I have one little elephant in the room question. And it's really a personal question for me. So, as I said, I have a lot of respect.
Don't be asking nothing crazy.
I'm not.
Yeah, go crazy.
It has nothing to do with you two per se. But I have what bothers me about the girls is the girls that go through everything that they go through mentally and physically to identify themselves as a woman, but still act like men, especially gay men. Like, so we have some girls that are, have platforms that would tell guys in a minute to suck my dick. Very much stuff that really blurs the lines for me with just stuff that's not ladylike. And stuff that I just don't feel like women, whether you're a cis girl or
is it being said in the bathroom or just in the street?
No, this is public. I wish I had.
But I mean, in the sense of like in the bedroom, suck my dick, or like
kind of giving me like every other, like on Tuesday through Wednesday, I want you to identify me. Don't disrespect me and call me anything but a woman. But on Thursday to Sunday, I'm sitting here saying I don't give a fuck, nigga, suck my dick. This is
no. That's a training. That's what that is.
Oh, okay. So with the faggot, that's when it goes to training.
Like I said, it's
like an ignorant.
And the thing about it is, it's kind of weird.
Am I the only one that sees it?
I think so.
Are you serious?
I mean, I've heard it firsthand. I'm like,
not only that, they kept referring to natural born women, like me, a natural born woman, as a cis woman. They were saying basically cis means you accepted the gender that your doctor gave to you. This is something they said in the fucking video. Oh yeah, when you was a baby, the doctor chose your gender. Like, they just chose your fucking gender, whatever the fuck they was doing. They chose your gender when you came out. Like, you didn't, you know what I'm saying? You didn't have any hand in that. You're not really what you were born. But if you choose to identify as what they labeled you as when you were born, you're cis. So technically, a cis man will be a male who was born with a penis, like, that came out as male. He identifies as a male. That's a cis man. Throw that shit out the window. That shit is some bullshit, nigga. Don't call me no fucking cis woman. You know what, they said that on the show, like, oh, well, because Envy asked, like, yeah, what do we call you? Like, what's the correct term to call you? Like, do we call you tranny, trans, da-da-da? And they was like, well, yeah, some trans women identify as trans. Some of us identify as tranny. They take that power. Some of us just identify as non-binary, da-da-da, all this other bullshit. Well, it's like, bitch, okay, well, we going that route. Don't call me no motherfucking cis woman. I'm not no cis woman. I'm a natural born motherfucking woman. I'm a woman, baby. You're a trans woman, okay? Cool, do you? But baby, I'm a fucking woman. You ain't gotta put no goddamn cis in front of my shit. I'm not cis nothing. I'm motherfucking a woman. Point blank, period. I am a woman, okay? Fuck you talking about? If I had a dick in between my legs, I would be a man. Like, my nigga, get the fuck out of here. These niggas was really wild. Like, oh yeah, I'm a cis man that is attracted to trans women, but also cis women. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck are these, these motherfuckers sounded insane. And then they went
ideal of who we want to be, and this idea of who gay men want us to be.
Yeah. And that too, and the thing that, my personal opinion, I just wanted to see if y'all hit it. My personal opinion, I can't speak for it because like I said, I'm not trans, is I feel like there are some guys, not a lot, that are transitioning for trans. And not because they want to actual or feel like they want to be women. And I feel like that's where this behavior is coming from, because like you two expressed from childhood, y'all feel like. And I feel like some people are just, because now we can be anything and want to be accepted for it. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that, but anything, if I feel like I identify with being an elephant, people are getting so crazy with you. Like, then identify me as an elephant. And no offense to anybody. I don't want anybody
which people be trying
to feel some type of way. I'm not saying that that's the same thing, but I'm saying, but in the sense of people just are just getting in where they can fit in. And I feel like there's a lot of guys that's doing it as a joke, a play. I've seen guys actually transition and then stop. You know what I'm saying? And I can't speak for that, because you can go through certain things, phases of your life. You can feel how you want to feel. We all feel certain. I felt crazy for 6-7 months last year. You know what I'm saying? So I can't speak on that, but I'm just speaking from my personal perception of seeing that type of behavior and kind of seeing guys kind of do it, because now it's more culturally been accepted, and we're seeing it on TV and it's getting likes, because the girls.
You know who I blame for it?
Who?
Caitlyn. No shit, I'm sorry. Once Caitlyn came out and did that, it was accepted. It was ... So my thing though is, if Cardi hit his best, do anything for clout. A lot of times when you go to the clubs, let's say in Atlanta, you see how certain girls get treated in the club. You want that attention. So you're going to do it to get that attention. It's not what you want to do. Like I said, somebody asked me recently, so what's it like being a trans woman? I think I want to transition. And I say this. As far as with me personally, I didn't ask nobody about transitioning or whatever.
You knew what
I
you
asked
wanted
about
to.
resources, but as far as like my day-to-day, how I deal with it, I didn't ask about that. Because like I said, I knew what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could say one thing to an 8-year-old boy who knows that inside of himself that he's a woman, if you could look at the camera and say that right now, what would you say? And look at the camera. I want you to say that to the camera. Oh, this camera, sorry. This camera over here. This your camera over here.
Go ahead.
I would say it's just, I guess it's kind of hard because it's based on parents. But if you can find a safe space in your parents, confide in your parents about who you are, how you feel. I know it's hard to say, but for me, when I was younger, being a spiritual person helped, praying and feeling like God was listening to me, or feeling like if I couldn't talk to anybody else, that's who I could talk to, then that's what I did, because that's what I did do. But just know that you're not crazy. You feel however you feel. It is what it is. And eventually, you will blossom into whoever you're meant to be. Just hang out.
I would say, it's kind of tough, but get your education, get your money. When you turn 18, you can do whatever you want to do, and it actually gets greater later. Like I said, once you get to a point of self-stability, you don't need anybody or anybody's opinion.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Y'all have blessed us. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Manish. We're going to drop the handles. Make sure you follow these young ladies, all the things that they are doing out here in the world. It's been great. Okay. Yes.
On the next episode of Manage, we discuss light skin versus
It's even
dark
worse
skin.
when it comes to when people find out that I'm biracial. It's like all my life I had to literally deal with people not being black enough for my black family and being way too fucking black for my Spanish family.
There was this guy there and he was like looking at me and whatnot. And we just started talking. And that phrase came up, you know, I usually don't talk to dark skinned guys, but you're cute, so I'll talk to you. And it didn't hit me at that moment because I was more so in the praise of being the token black one. It didn't hit me in that moment, but after a while, I started hearing that phrase, and I was just like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that every dark-skinned man is ugly? And I'm just a token one? Like, I hate that term. I know females hear it all the time. Like,